What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is JP, I am a truck driver, and today we're going to be going over how to pre-trip my truck. Now this is a 2022 Western Star. It is equipped with the Detroit diesel DD15, and that is the same engine used in most of the Freightliner Cascadias, and we'll just be going over some of the things to look for under the hood, some of the most crucial components that you should be checking every day before you fire up the truck, and just making sure that they're in good condition. So let's get started. Oh, we got one of our other drivers backing in. We're over here at Grand Distribution in Denver. Well, Commerce City, but still. So, I'll go ahead and close this. Hood latches. Actually, I got my gloves. You always want to have a good pair of gloves. Preferably something that's going to be good with oil. These are the gloves that I use for anything that might involve fluids or wet stuff. For any dry stuff, I have a second pair of gloves, so yeah. Alright, we got the one side done. Let's get the other side. Detroit! Now, hopefully, this hood will come up. There's a little grab handle right here. It's a little difficult to get going sometimes. Fucking hell. Probably help if I unlatch this side. Comes up like that. Okay, so here we have the passenger side. I like starting on this side. Over here, you got the turbo exhaust. This goes into the DPF system over here. Got air lines for the air conditioning. Air conditioning goes over here to the AC filter dryer. Here is our shiny new AC compressor. This is the one where the clutch melted. In fact, you can actually still see some of the residue on there. So here you have your hot side charge pipe. This is where the hot air goes with the turbo. Got tow hooks down here. This is the air filter dryer. Got your shock mounting bolts. There's little bushings in here. Once they start getting really worn out, they'll start to have a little bit of play in it. Brake chamber. Now this is equipped with disc brakes instead of drum brakes. There's a really good video on how to check that. Here's the air line. Here's the ABS line. Tires. Obviously, these are pretty new still. You want to check to make sure they're properly inflated. Make sure that you have an air gauge. You don't see any abrasions, blisters, cuts. Make sure that you have at least 4 30-seconds of tread depth on the steer tires, at least 2 30-seconds on the drives as well as the trailer tires. Just make sure there's nothing really like visibly wrong, any nails, anything sticking out of here. Alternator down here, belt driven, pulleys and belts. You want your belts to twist about halfway. If anything more than that, it could be worrisome. Over there's the air intake. And then there's actually a check valve right up here. I don't know if you can see it. It's that thing right there. You can actually climb up and see where the air filter gauge is at. Once it gets clogged, it'll automatically pop out. Make sure that all the lines are separated and you don't see any kind of dry rotting, cracking, leaking, any of that stuff. Make sure all these clamps are tight so you don't get a boost leak. Check all your fittings, make sure you don't see anything leaking, any visible oil, anything like that. Check your leaf spring and the spring mounts over there. Now this one, the DPF regen system is right back there. There's not really a good way to access it, but you know, just want to look at it. And I mean, obviously I'm not a mechanic, but it would normally be behind this panel, but it's got screws on it. So check the fan blades, make sure everything's spinning free, no damage there. Anything with the radiator, support bar, make sure that bushing's in good condition. Make sure there's no missing bolts. Make sure there's no illegal welds to the frame. There's actually a warning I'll show you on the other side. These lines are heat shielded because obviously this gets really, really hot. So I like to make sure that's still good. You can see that this one's developing a little bit of, oh no, I think that's just dirt. But yeah, it's just heat foil to keep everything cool. And normally what I would do is just check the front, but everything's good. You want to make sure you have your plate. No damage to the front, no damage to the hood, no damage to the bumper. And we'll check all the lights and all that stuff. Make sure everything's good up top. Windshield wipers, condition's good on that. Here's the real business side of the engine. So again, tires, here's your hub oil level indicator. You pull this little thingy off and you can see it. Make sure there's no grease leaking out that you can see. Make sure all your lug nuts are there and it doesn't show any signs of rust streaking or any of that crap. Make sure there's no illegal welds or any damage to your wheels. Coolant, make sure it's within range. Radiator support bar, cold side of the charge pipe, the intake. Water pump down over here. Oh, that's good. Again, just wires, hood struts, free play, no binding. Here's where you fill up your windshield washer fluid. Got a fuse box here, dryer. There's your foot valve assembly right here where all these red and yellow lines are coming from. That's what it basically runs your brakes. I'm sure that's good. All the wires are tucked, no wires fraying or anything like that. Make sure that there's no signs of leaking diesel or anything. Check underneath the truck, make sure there's no oil or anything leaking that you can see. Fuel filters in here. Power steering fluid, make sure that's good level. Check this hose. This goes to your steering rack, steering arm right here. Make sure that's good. Pitman arm and drag link should be secured. Now on older trucks they did, oh, on this one it does still, okay. So you got a castle nut here, a cotter pin right here. There's a bushing in here. Make sure that there's no free play or anything like that. Everything's tight. This is marked with some kind of paint pen so it shows that it hasn't backed out at all. Drag link over here to the steering knuckle. Again, castle nut, cotter pin, stuff like that. Check the rack, check the U-bolts. Again, check the shackles, all that good stuff. No illegal welds, no signs of rust streaking anywhere. Everything's tight. Check the brake chambers, brakes, etc., etc. Same thing, tires. And here's your oil fill up here. Here's your dipstick. So a lot of people neglect this. That's good. I'm just gonna wipe it off and double check it. It's actually almost due for its first oil service. We're at like 48,500 right now. Okay. Again, check all the fittings, going to everything, make sure you don't see or hear anything leaking. If nothing else, check your tires, check your suspension, check your belt, check your coolant, and most importantly, check your oil. Because oil is something that will absolutely destroy an engine in a hurry. Here's your def fill, cap on, battery box. Some batteries are under there. I don't really feel like pulling that all the way off. Check the side, check the fairing, check the windows, all that good stuff. Quarter panel right here, secure and attached. No damage to it other than the usual wear and tear. Check the frame, fuel tank straps. It's got a breather valve or breather hose right there. Make sure the cap's on, secured to the safety chain. If it's a vented fuel cap, make sure that cap is down, not up, or else you could leak fuel. Check all your lines. Make sure you don't hear anything leaking out. Make sure your hoses are in good condition. All your connections are good. Like that. And in here, check your differentials, check your torque bar, bushings, check your drive shaft. Make sure all the lines are good. Again, no leaking, no fraying, nothing hanging too low. All that good stuff. Airbags back here. Brake chambers, U-bolt, shackles, leaf springs, shock. Make sure there's nothing in between your tires. Again, all the previous stuff applies as well. If you have a trailer connected, make sure that this handle is in. It's a good thing to check at gas stations because some people will have a unique sense of humor and think that it's a good idea to pull your fifth wheel pin and then you end up dropping your trailer. So I always check it before I get rolling if I've ever been in somewhere. Same thing, wheels, lug nuts, hub seals, all that good stuff. Mud flap. You also have this reflective stuff right here. And under here, airbags, brakes, same deal. Rear differential, torque bar, all lines and wires and all that stuff. Make sure your fifth wheel's attached. Now what I was talking about with the frame and illegal welds. Heat treated frame, do not weld, do not drill holes in upper or lower flanges. Flanges? Flanges. And we'll just do a quick once over on the other side as well.